big-time NCAA basketball. Wednesday and Saturday nights, it's some of the NCAA's hottest teams from the SEC and other colleges playing basketball prime time. Strong triple drive all the way to finish. Smith with a lob. Oh! Hits a jumper.
Welcome, everybody. Wally George back here live, and we have another live guest in the studio. And may I present from the law offices of Greg Burke himself. How are you, Greg?
Good to see you, Wally.
Good to see you. Hey, we have our patriotic ties on here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on your show.
Okay, well, listen, there's your phone numbers. You have a 949 and a 714. Write them down. We'll show them again throughout the interview. Where's your office located?
My practice is in Newport Beach, right near the airport.
And what types of law do you practice?
I have a general practice. I do family law. I do personal injury, criminal defense, real estate, and federal immigration and naturalization.
Now, I understand you're going to kind of concentrate on family law tonight, right?
Yes, we'll focus on family law.
Okay, now, what do you see as one of the most volatile issues in family court?
I would say domestic violence is probably a key issue with family courts.
Well, now, if one of the spouses hits the other, clobbers them with a vase or something, how does law enforcement look upon this?
Well, if the police are called, and they will come out quickly, they will assess the situation, and if they determine...
Is that assault?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Can they be booked?
They will be booked. The police treat it very seriously. They sometimes will arrest both spouses.
Really?
But it is taken extremely seriously now. They will likely arrest the person that committed the assault, book them, get an emergency protective order against them. It's treated very seriously.
Wow, so you got to be very careful that you don't... what about just actually hitting someone with their fist?
They take it all very seriously. I have a client who, it alleged, merely pushed a woman.
Yeah.
Merely pushed in an argument, and the judge threw the book at her.
Wow.
At him, excuse me.
Well, how do family courts handle such an incident?
The family courts, typically, if they find domestic violence, they will order the abuser to a 52-week batterers treatment counseling program. They may require monitored visitation when the batterer meets with the child, continued review by the court. It's treated very seriously.
Can you go to jail?
You can. There can also be a separate criminal matter where the criminal courts will now prosecute, the DA will prosecute as a misdemeanor or sometimes a felony.
All right, what personal advice do you have for a spouse that happens to have a very hot temper?
I would say you really need to realize that if you're going to touch that other person in an assault fashion, you better go for a walk. Take a deep breath. Get out of the house, go get some ice cream, go to the movies. Do not touch that person because there are very severe consequences.
What about the person who's the victim of domestic violence?
A victim should seek a restraining order. They should call 911 if it's an emergency. They can go to family court and seek a restraining order against the abuser, and the courts treat it very seriously.
Let's get into to something that a lot of people are very negligent on, child support. Now, can somebody be prosecuted criminally for failing to provide the child support?
They can. I was just in court the other day. The DA in Los Angeles was going after my client criminally as a misdemeanor for failure to provide medical insurance for the child. And the DA takes these things very seriously.
And if you don't cough up, can you go to jail for that?
Yes, you could.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, so if you are supposed to pay your child support, you better cough it up.
Yes.
Now, how about moving away with a child? Say the father and the mother live in the same town, and all of a sudden the mother decides, I'm moving to Florida, and she picks up the child and moves away. Is that legal? Can she do that?
The general rule is yes, but there's some exceptions. First of all, the courts like to see the person who's going to leave to give 45 days written notice to the other party. I'm going to move to Florida. I'm moving to New York. If you have any objection, I put you on notice. It gives the other party time to go to court and block it if they want to.
Can the other party stop her from moving away?
Well, the only real grounds that you can stop it is if that person is moving away to frustrate your ability to visit your child. If you can prove the only reason,
prove that, though?
well, circumstantial evidence and so on, but if you can prove that he or she is moving away just to stop you from visiting that child, the court is going to block it. That's a bad faith move. But if he or she has a good reason, a job prospect, she has family over there or so on, as long as a visitation schedule is worked out, the courts will approve it.
What if they move, say, clear across the world, you know, to another country?
It's a more difficult matter, but I would think the courts still tend to allow it as long as that person agrees to bring the kid back every summer, alternate winters.
Seems unfair, though, to me.
Yeah, and an international move away is looked at with far more scrutiny than a domestic.
Okay, we have to wrap up here. What final advice would you have for people who have domestic problems?
My final advice, Wally, would be that people should take advantage of family lawyers and utilize them. Too often I hear of people griping about the fact that they're paying too much child support or not enough. There's an omitted asset that they've never gone back into court for. They feel they're a victim of domestic violence. And these are things that family lawyers can go to court and resolve. People should not try and take matters in their own hands or just let it sit in their gut for 20 years.
There's the numbers on the screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Wally. It's a pleasure.
And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
I'll be right back with some final words, folks. Stay where you are.